What's going on, gamers? We got a interesting reply here coming from Valve regarding PlayStation's physical format ending in 2028. And they're coming out and saying it straight up, it's your fault. Now, I made a video about this, which is actually interesting, saying that the reason why it's this percentage is because that's what gamers voted with their wallet. And Valve is not playing any games. They're not coming to defend you or do any of that, because the format that Valve has always pushed is no subscription, but fully digital license and giving you cool options with it. Some people like it. Obviously, GOG has the best storefront from that, but they're basically also saying, like, you know, everything you think you're going to fight against, it's already over. You failed. And this is your fault. So let's get into this. Like, comment, subscribe, become a member, leave a tip down below. Here we go. Valve Writer, it's right here, Valve Writer, directly blames you. He's blaming you, the gamers, the consumers, for the end of physical format on PlayStation. Look, this is funny because, like, everybody is coming out and basically saying what they want to say. We saw what we saw with NPD, Mass Piscatella, saying that these are just the results. But who's doing that? Gamers? Yeah, it's 100% true. This is the medium that you've chosen. So he said it right here. This is your fault. Why are you mad that they're doing that? You guys did this, not nobody else. Then he says, you, the consumer, have made a decision. Not lying. And your decision is to go for digital. Meaning that over time, you have manifested this in your dream. You have done this by your decisions. You have done this by every time you hit the buy button on something digital. That's very true. I've been saying this for a while. So to him, Sony making that move, and this is where I told all these, these P-brains of saying, oh, we're going to PC. Got these little pictures, PlayStation 5, it gets emptied and then all the line fills up the PC. What are you talking about? This is what Valve has been pushing for the longest. And now they're coming out and telling you, oh, this is your fault. I mean, look at my store. It's like this because of you too, right? So what happened to all the PlayStation hate that the biggest app on PC that supports the biggest PC market in the entire world is telling you it's your fault, and came up and give you an overpriced Steam Deck and a Steam machine, but they're still coming out and telling you. I thought Valve was, you know, like all these people are saying, like I said, it's a bunch of fake PC gamers, a lot of fake Xbox fanboys that are butthurt that are also on PC and in the Xbox world. And then Nintendo gamers just laughing at people to the side a little bit because they still got physical formats. That's the only place that I would have said would have been reasonable if you said you want to go over there and get a Switch too, because you truly were a physical gamer and only bought physical games in the PlayStation world. All those other people was all fake manipulated nonsense and just over PlayStation hate. But Valve is telling you right to your face, you the consumer have made a decision and your decision is to go for digital. Hey, I'm right in there with that. You think everyone is lying to you. I know. Sony came out with straight up in your face. They weren't being fake. They weren't brainwashing like Microsoft. They came out and told you, I ain't even got to talk to you. Like arrogantly, like cockily, like you did this, right? And it's like, this is where the other side of the medium is extreme and blind, as if like you're sitting there just getting mad at them, but you're the ones that put them in that position and you're the one that supported it. It's very true. All of us did together. I'm not complaining about digital. I love digital. I already explained it. You can't go in a Walmart, Target, Best Buy, and, you know, and markets in the physical medium, except maybe in a GameStop, if it has it, and think that you can get the same catalog of a digital library on a digital storefront. When a digital storefront has thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of video games and tons of them on sale all the time on Steam and PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox. You cannot go in a physical store and get it like that. You have so much options in a digital. And if I wanted to go on vacation and I was enjoying all these games, I would have to bring the physical copies with me. With digital, I'm spaceless. I love that. I don't need to carry around all this stuff with me. I don't need to worry about nothing breaking, nothing getting lost. It's right there, literally. That's what I've always loved about digital, just to be honest with you. I think it's a lot more cleaner and more professional. And you don't have to worry about running out of a copy of something selling out. It's always there. There's so many positives to it that I just love that made me never want to go back physical. And I'll be honest about it. We're not fake over here. So like you said, you think everyone is lying to you. No, these corporations are straight up telling you, look, this is what I'm doing. That's not lying. They're just telling you, and they can't handle it. But you did do this. You think they're somehow benefiting from this. Oh, they are benefiting from that. That I'm going to disagree with, because when it comes to digital only, you don't have to pay Walmart, Target, Best Buy, Amazon. You know what I mean? Like if you want to go to Target, all that type of stuff. It costs money to manufacture this. It costs money to make a case. It costs money to ship, and they want to get their cut. And they can sell it and give discounts. So no, Nintendo was always very strict with that. So I don't know about not benefiting. Yeah, they do. They make way more profit. So no, they're reacting to your purchases. Okay, yeah, 100%. They're looking at the data and they're like, okay, now it's time to just go all digital, because most of them don't care. And whatever's left over, yeah, we don't care about that. That's 100% for sure. They had an established system and you said, no, I don't like this. I want it instantly. And that started in the PC world. And people have adjusted to the same thing. Who set it up like this, Valve, is coming to tell you, this is your fault. I want it instantly. Of course, instant gratification. Nobody wants to drive around and do all this and that. It can be annoying and get ripped off by GameStop, though you can still trade in stuff later on. But the point was that obviously you have trading options, market discounts, all that. We already know that, but that's not the point though. Nobody cares about that. They would still rather wait on a digital sale, deep discounts, and still get the game, no problem. And they're going to keep it. So I want you guys to let me know what you think about Valve actually telling you this, because I'm telling you right now, I'm not mad at Valve, because they're literally telling the truth. And I'm not offended because it's true. It's just like it'd be fake. You've pressured corporations to abandon the physical format. Ooh, no, that right there is always going to be a double-edged sword. And what they mean by that is, because you've made it 85% and sometimes more, all of them have looked, and other people like Rockstar coming out with the GTA 6 format saying, we're not doing any disc, right? It might have to fit on 2 discs. What we're going to do is we're going to do a digital only launch. It'll sell out everywhere anyways. But I don't blame people still for getting mad. But the point is when they did that medium, then everybody else follows through with it. So it's more like, they follow the numbers and the data. They're all about that. So by you making that decision, that's going to force them to focus on that. Could they still back you up and say, hey, I still want to back you up in the physical format? Yeah, of course they still can do that. So like, I kind of half agree with this, but I get what they're saying. These comments are pretty out of place, huh? Yeah, it gets very interesting. Going down, a library says, Dell friends, really? Very few people care about the disc. It's true, the percentage is very low. And for those who do, it's more for collectible purposes. Yeah, they're hoarders. Though, well, it wasn't entirely the consumer's fault. Companies were given fewer and fewer incentives to buy physical copies. Even if you had the game, you still had to do a download. Well, the thing is that the way that they're launching games now, you can actually update them. That's not necessarily a bad thing. What I looked back then is you had to launch a game finished. Nowadays, you can launch a game incomplete and keep on updating it. So if you're going to get the update, you have to go online regardless. So to me, it's dumb. Like, it's like, you're going to go online. Like, stop acting like you're going to get a console to just be offline 24/7. That's not true. That's only in moments. There's no way you're not going online. You want to hang out with friends, party, chat. You're playing mostly free-to-play games, Call of Duty. Like, look at the biggest played games, except in the PlayStation and Nintendo worlds. Of course, there's a lot of single-player games. They still dominate. But you still are going online. When they release updates, expansions, you're going to have to go online. When they add in and change around metas, like, there is no avoiding any of this. There's a bug, they're going to fix it and patch it. Nobody's perfect. You see? So that's why I think the happen to be online is a little bit blown out of proportion, except for something like, for example, Halo. Why should I need to have an Xbox account and do all that to just play local, split screen, or to play a campaign game offline? That patch should come on the disc. And we should be good. There are situations where it's like, okay, but the idea of thinking that when I get a physical game, I have the perfect game and I never need to go online is kind of restricting yourself from future updates. I never had a problem with that. I have a problem with forcing me to sign into an account that's separate from another system that I don't need to do something that doesn't require being online. And if the game is actually released well, then I don't need patches. But if you're adding in DLC, free updates, new game plus modes and all that, obviously I have to go online to get that. Either way, the way you look at it, or however you look at it, you can't really argue with those factors. So what he's saying is not entirely the consumer's fault. Companies were giving fewer and fewer incentives to buy physical copies. In a way, that's very true. But it was doing that because the digital medium was growing so high. Nobody wants to need to get up to drive if they don't have to. You can have the digital midnight release at 11 o'clock too. You don't have to move. Nothing's never going to sell out. This guy says it's the truth and we must accept it. While digital purchases have increased, physical purchases still exist, though to a lesser extent. That does not make PlayStation's actions anti-consumer. It's as if they eliminated games that aren't played much because they only have to sell the hits. Well, that's what's in the physical stores anyways, the stuff that people think is going to go off the shelves. And I ain't going to no store to get no damn code in a box, that's for sure. That's another thing that's terrible. Let's go to Microsoft and all those other people that were starting that. But like I said, that all started in the PC world a long time ago. Getting the code, buying the thing, and the code was right there. They have been doing it. They have been pushing that medium even when it didn't make sense. They were trying to move you away from the physical format and got you comfortable. In the PC world, it's been that way for a long time. That's why I say that if they came in and say anything about PlayStation, they are the biggest hypocrites of them all. And in the console world, the Xbox fanboys are the biggest hypocrites. And when you think about all the rage against Sony, it wasn't specifically, like I said, just PlayStation. It was a lot of Xbox haters and Xbox butthurt fanboys on PC and a lot of PC gamers and some Nintendo gamers. And Nintendo gamers have a right to say something because that's always been the highest physical format. Like, and they sell the most physical. They've kept physical alive more than anybody. And they're very serious about that. And Nintendo even provided like a key card, you know what I mean, option, which is way better than a code in a box. Because like I tell you right now, when the physical medium is completely dead in the Xbox world, down the line in the PlayStation world, Nintendo's going to be the one in the future to where, like, let's say if GTA 6 comes there in like a year from now or something, you will be able to get game key cards and have some type of format. That option is going to be there. And Rockstar knows that to this extent, if they do that, people will double dip and they'll get the PC version, most likely. They're going to find a way to get GTA to sell more copies than you would think. Just watch how this stuff works. Because when you go to Nintendo's world, you're playing by their rules. And Rockstar's looking at that install base. They're like, oh, you'll pass up the Xbox One this or Xbox Series X and S this year. The Switch 2 will. Or be right up next to it. But I think pretty much by the end of the year, it's going to pass it up. And it's only took it a year and a half to do that. So, yeah, I mean, I get what they're saying. And he says lie. He didn't say it's an abysmal difference in sales between digital copies and total physical ones. That's kind of not the point. The point is that GameStop has been telling you, and tons of other companies have been telling you, that digital is ruling at a higher degree, and you might as well just now go full digital now. Now, like I said, if you are a cool gaming company, and let's say if I was the leader of Sony and I said, okay, so you guys are crying this much, you still care about physical? Okay, we'll keep a little small medium open for you, kind of like limited run games. And for those that want that, you can order it on this website. We'll let third-party manufacturers be able to support this for you. That's where like you can start being cool. But Sony is obviously not doing that, so I can understand that frustration. But at the end of the day, I wonder what Steam fanboys and PC fanboys are going to say about this, who literally tried to join in on that boycott. Same thing with Xbox fanboys, who literally have all their exclusives on life support on Steam that are not coming to PlayStation. They thought they had something to say about this. No, Steam is letting you know. Or Valve, honestly. It's your fault. You, the consumer, have done this. You went for digital. You made it this big. Nobody's lying to you. They're just putting it right in front of your face, and they don't have to play nice because that's just their choice. Right? They're reacting to you by the data that you give them, and they're choosing what's best for them. There was an established physical system. You wanted digital. That's why it's here. I can't argue with that. But what I could say is that I don't agree with pressuring corporations. I'm like, no, I mean, why would they need to be pressured? They make so much money. No, it's you that is actually pressured. You don't got nowhere. You don't have nowhere near as much money as these corporations. But at the end of the day, this is not going to destroy PlayStation like people thought it was. That was overblown out of proportion. And I called that. I knew that. Like I said, this just reminds me of politics with whores and raging and doing all this. But then just conform and comply and get along with it. It eventually dies down and you find something else to do that with. I've seen it tons of time in the Nintendo world with Pokemon games and tons of other phenomenons going on too. And it ends up selling out and selling more than it ever did. It's just history repeating itself. Sony knew this. That's why they said they weren't going to engage with people. Black Ops 1 and 2, look at what happened with that. right? That right there to me was the end of the boycott. When I saw that, I was like, oh, it's over. Hey, you're not going to be able to do much after that. On top of Modern Warfare 3 being on PlayStation Plus. It's like 3 COD games, that's all it took. And then sold millions. And you got like probably 2 million plus PlayStation Plus subscriptions doing that. They actually gained more over time. And that was just nothing and got canceled out and overridden, and they gained more. And that was teamed up with Microsoft, PlayStation, who was doing that with Sony, and Activision, with the biggest launch of all time, GTA 6 coming in, and then Valve coming out telling you the same thing. GameStop saying they don't care. The whole system and medium is telling you there's nothing you can do about it, and it's not going to change anything. It's pretty obvious. So at least they said games before 2028, you could still get physical copies for those. But after that, no. And they're letting you know way ahead of time, because it'll be died down significantly by then. And so much stuff will be out and passed over it that it's not going to really matter. This is the thing that people need to understand in the gaming medium. See how reality hits when we get to 2028. Sony's already letting you know the PS6 will probably be somewhere around there. Because why would you launch PS6 then do that? No, you're going to do that before PS6. It's 2028. And everything's going to die down then. All the market stuff's going to drop down, and then you're going to be able to get better deals. It's right there, the writing's on the wall if you can see it. Let me know what you guys think. As usual, leave a comment down below. Like, comment, subscribe. Like I said, I know people fight for the physical format. I know they're going to still keep doing the memes on PlayStation's comments on Twitter, and say some things on YouTube too. But, and I'm not telling you to give up. If you want to keep doing that, sure, go ahead. But I don't think that it's going to do that much damage anymore. Everything that was tried was kind of already tried, and we saw how far it went. Call of Duty came in, old ports, and dumped right over it. Later, y'all. And then you got all these people coming out, and all these companies that people wanted to back up and say they were the best are telling you that it's your fault. Yeah. Later. Keep on gaming no matter what platform you're on. Or app, because ain't nobody on the Steam machine.